We are live. Phone is turned on as well. Okay, if everyone would please stand the pledge and remain standing afterwards, I greatly appreciate it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice. The reason I've asked for you to remain standing is we did lose one of our residents, unfortunately, this past week. Very fine gentleman, Willie Wright, been a long time resident of this town. And also to honor the 911 victims that happened 22 years ago this past Monday. So if we could please have a moment of silence. Okay, thank you for. Okay, has everybody had a chance to review the bills?
Ceiling. Did we get bids for that? Ceiling the front driveway section.
I could get. 10 people getting hurt on the. Especially for a lot of this.
Okay. So that did the whole.
Any other questions?
The only other thing I saw was the National Grid got, I think, under twice.
Exact same amount.
One night exact same amount, same day.
Oh, it gets split. It was split. Notice the distribution account number?
Ah, perfect. Okay, great.
Okay, yep.
Right.
Any other questions? Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the bills?
I move that we accept the bills.
Second.
Margaret, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Moving on to the minutes. Everybody read the minutes over? Any problems with them?
I move that we accept the minutes from August meeting with the update that Maureen gave us tonight.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. We were supposed to have a presentation tonight.
Yes.
Oh, I did forget about them. I apologize.
Sorry.
Okay.
If you give me a second, Ken. So moved, with the special meeting on the. Public hearing.
And we all still approve. Okay, as I started to say, Jason Foote was supposed to come and do a presentation tonight for us on the town park and the layout. He became ill today and he called me and asked if it was okay. And I said, yes, we don't need your germs. So he will be at our next board meeting to do a presentation on the master plan for the park. Okay, under old business. Hemlock Ridge, at this time, nothing is moving yet. Still at a standstill. I do not believe, I haven't received anything from the state at this time. Insofar as NYSERDA awarding. NYSERDA awards anyways to those projects. Baird Solar Project, they've completed most of their field work. A lot of, if you notice on the north side, the north parcel, you'll see a lot of trees stacked out there near the road. Those are the ones that the property owner wishes to do something with. I don't know what, but he wishes to do something with those. It's not in the way of where the panels and the field itself, it's outside that area, so that's up to the property owner to remove those. The other trees, which was about half of this many, they had a large chipper and they chipped the crap out of all of them. They had huge piles back there of wood chips, which they have spread throughout the fields out there at this time. According to the last conversation that Bridget and I had with the two project managers, equipment should be brought in this week. I haven't seen any equipment other than a large bulldozer was brought in. I think it was on Monday. But other than that, no other equipment like racks and so on. The posts that the racks have to go on. They have not arrived as of yet. They do have a trailer there. There's somebody posted there all day long. If you have questions or anything, stop by, give them a cup of coffee. There's somebody there. Bridget, are you online yet? Okay. I'm going to skip down then for right now on that to RTO ambient. We have put that, the United Way advertisement that I had pointed out last board meeting. That is on our website for people, anybody that may be interested in signing up for the micro dishes system, another type of high-speed internet that should reach everybody in the town, at least in our town. I know there are some dead areas. I believe that our whole town should be covered because of where the location of the dishes are for our town. The name of the company, RTO, is the overlying. It's like with the wind turbines. It's Apex is the overlying company, but locally it's called Heritage Wind. Well, for them, RTO is the overlying company. Ambient is the company here locally that you would be contacted. Bridget, you there? Okay, I didn't know if she might have something to add on. I know Carrie does. Okay, Carrie, go ahead.
So an update on the Heritage Wind project, from what we know right now. James Moscato, who is the attorney for Heritage Wind, submitted a letter to New York State, to ORES, stating that they are reevaluating the layout, which we knew because they had shared with us last month, and that they will be resubmitting that. And he put in there that they would like ORES to review that the new submission, because they are no longer going to be going against the setback, our local law setbacks, which they did have a couple of turbines that were not in line with our local laws. So other than what was previously approved by ORES to be overruled. So then that they were anticipating submitting that by the end of August. So this letter, he didn't say when they're going to be submitting that to the state. He just said that they plan to. And then that there are a few more turbines that we just heard are being moved from the map that was shared with us last month. So that once we receive that, we hope to be able to put that on the town website so that anyone can look and see what those changes are that are being. Nothing is official until it's submitted to ORES, and then it still can be changed until they deem it complete. So what we get is just a draft. That's which is why it continues to change. I'm gonna let Sean say what yeah.
No.
If sure. Afterwards, I'd be more than happy to talk or answer.
Just so you know, step out of line here. We did receive the new layout of the 28 wind turbines, which it is down to. We did run off copies of that, of which there's one at the front counter for people if they wish to look at where the 28 wind towers are located. There's one posted in the hallway outside my office, and it is on the website.
There is going to be there's 2 of those turbines are being moved. My understanding is that that's not the most updated. That's why I just got that email today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bridget, you're online. Do you wish to add? When you're saying shifted, by how much? Is it going to really change? I mean, the map is of our whole town. And it's a legal piece of paper. Is it going to really show up as a big change? Okay.
Well, and I just and if we're going to be putting the map online, which we do have, what we have, our most current is now on our website, but we'll have the updated one on there. You can blow that up and see, compared to their home.
Okay. Anything else in Heritage Wind?
Not at this time.
Okay. Now, Water District 10. How many people are here to talk about Water District 10? Okay. So what I'm going to do, usually I have speakers at the end of the meeting. But we're doing it up front so we can hear what everybody has to say. Now, based on that, our policy for anybody that speaks, it says, it's on the back of your agenda. Please be respectful of the 5-minute time limit. Please give your full name and legal address before speaking. Please show respect to speakers and allow them to talk without any interruptions. Never mind about the sign up. This is an exceptional period. Please keep your subject matter to one topic. Well, it's on Water District 10, obviously. And priority be given to town residents and landowners, which all of you are, I would assume. Yes, I pointed that out at the very beginning when nobody has come in since I pointed that out. Everybody, there's nobody in here that hasn't signed that attendance sheet, is there? Please. Thank you, Mr. Bob.
I don't. And you for going to 5 minutes.
I don't think anybody's gonna talk more than 5 minutes, but for brevity, I'm gonna run it anyways. If I remember how to run it, and
I would prefer we just let the residents talk.
okay, who would now, for you to speak and address the board, I'm gonna ask you to please come up to this mic right here. Because the biggest complaint I get is when people listen to this on YouTube, they can't hear people talking. So I'm gonna ask that you please come on up to this microphone up here and address the board from that location, okay? Are you gonna be speaking, sir? Yes. I was gonna say, we'll have somebody hand you a mic, so you don't have to get up. No, it's a little hard to get up and down. Okay, now, in light of that, everybody should have, if you're here talking about Water District 10, after the last board meeting, or no, the public hearing we had, I sent out this letter. I put it in there 2 different ways. One is just the paragraphs right from the engineering report. And then on the flip side, I did a comparison of the costs so that you could see them. Hopefully it was clear about where the costs were coming from. Okay. So who'd like to be first?
My name is Chris Wells. I live at 15263 McNamara Road. I have been on the property since 1992. My concerns are I have to live within my budget. Why isn't this project within the budget? I can't afford to buy it. When I go to the grocery store, it's doubled. If milk has doubled, I don't buy it. The other thing is, if these wind turbines require water in any way, shape, or form, they should be the ones to install it. We bought the property knowing there was no water. We bought the property knowing there was no internet or cable. Now COVID hit, and lo and behold, we have internet, which is terrific. However, water should have been first because it's more of a priority. And now all of a sudden it's being forced on us. Assessments were pushed back. This project was pushed back. I think it ought to be pushed back further because there is too much money and people cannot afford it. And it's wrong.
Thank you, Ms. Wells. Yes, go ahead.
I beg your pardon. Several years ago, we border where I live, Clarendon. Clarendon offered to put water in our district, and all the town of Barry would have to do was provide staff. It was rejected.
Yep. Okay, who's next? Nobody else wishes to talk about the water district? Please.
Jermaine Wells, 15263 McNamara Road. My thing is, I'm asking the question, is this approved yet or not?
Not at this time. Final approval comes from the state comptroller's office. We have to go through, there's a process we have to go through to get it sent to the state comptroller's office. And that's what we're doing at this present time.
Okay. The materials for doing this job, are those sent out for bid? Or is it a, one or two particular companies that you call?
Well, we don't buy the materials. It's up to the contractor. We did put the whole job out for bid. We had 5, I believe, companies. Dale, is that right? 5, I think. Believe. I'm pretty sure it was 5 companies we got bids from. And you award your bid to the lowest bid
Right.
price.
Right.
And they do their own bidding, trying to find their materials. But we don't buy materials up front. The
Okay,
contractor does.
okay. So I work in this area, in construction. Our company puts pipe in the ground. You're telling us that the price has doubled, but yet what I hear from my superiors at my job is that this water pipe has actually come down almost half.
Well, to point that out as well, I was emailing with the engineer who was getting prices from different companies for the last year and a half. And I kept bugging him, okay, what are the prices at right now? How much have they dropped? And they have dropped some, yes. I can't say they dropped 50%. But at this time, they have dropped some.
Okay, so with that trend
They're not
happening,
back to the original price, no.
right, I understand that. But our economy is recovering. So as far as the people, so wouldn't it be wise to wait a longer period of time to allow those prices to come back down where they should be?
The one problem with waiting much longer is that we have, through the Rural Development Federal Agency, a set interest rate. And if we wait much longer, we're going to lose that interest rate, which means we have to start the process all over again. And in doing so, whatever the interest rate is at that time is what we'd have to go with. So now you're talking a higher interest rate because interest rates, as you know, have been going up.
Well, I'm kind of okay with waiting because a loan of this magnitude carried over 38 years, that you're dealing with another generation, not just ours. So why would we want to transfer that cost to the next generation? We need to just deal with things now and get it done for a reasonable price. So if you wait a little while, your prices will most likely come back down.
Well noted.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, is there anybody else?
My name is Barbie Starwitz. I live at 7331 Bank Street Road, Elba. We own the concrete building that used to be owned by Johnny Messina on the corner of McInerney Road, which is tax map number 107-1-34-2. Okay, on the engineer's report, it states that the owner is the B Company. We've owned the property since, I believe you said 2018. Okay, if you, of course, that I had to pay for. I asked for a copy. None was available at the last meeting. Okay, no paperwork. At the last meeting, I did get a copy of page number 9. If you refer anybody that wants the engineer report, I was charged $13 for future use, or if you want to know what the cost is. Underneath the Sunshine Law, which pertains to my property, I should be able to ask for information and receive information. I was denied that. The town is not following the Sunshine Law, which is New York State. Furthermore, the open meeting law. Before I came tonight, I took screenshots so everybody in the here can also see that the open meeting law is not being followed by this board. Okay, for reference, if you want to include it in the minutes, or you can even look on the website right now. You do not have the last board meetings minutes available. You are voting on something that the public should be able to refer to. The last meeting is dated July. August is not on there. And the agenda for tonight is not on there. Okay. Furthermore, this board, for the record, is not following the open meeting law, which is required in New York State. Okay, the last thing that was here, I took a picture. It was noted by the supervisor that all the information was on the website. I printed off a time screen after I left this meeting, very upset that no information to this day is still not given to me. What is my cost for this water development? You have on here in the engineering report for a resident. I'm not a resident. Oh, but yes, next door has a resident there listed under the previous owners of Kevin Bizon. I pointed this out when I came to the clerk, and she said, everything is true. And that engineer report is dated, what, August 2nd? And is still wrong. Furthermore, you had bids. No one at the meeting could tell us who the company was that you were awarding the bid to. You said tonight that there's 5 bids. On the telephone, you said that it's Fine Line Pipeline. Okay, have you done any research for this town to protect me and my property of their past history? Can you answer that, a yes or a no?
These 5 companies that,
Okay,
if they did not feel comfortable in the past, they have said that's not a company you want to deal with.
all right. Google, wonderful thing these days. I called up Virgin. They said that that company, there's 2 companies. That company took twice as long as the other company. Okay, number 2, they have OSHA violations. One of them including, you can Google, one of their employees was killed 2020, or was it 20? Yeah, 11/19/2020. So they have an accident where an employee died and there's violations. I'm concerned if they're going to go on my property, if they already have OSHA violations. But my main concern is, why don't we know who the company is? What is the exact cost? Right now, I still do not know the cost of my property. You sent out a letter for me to be here tonight. You're in violation because it still is a form letter. Am I exempt? Because it's a building. I'm a farm building. Am I exempt? No, you told me, the board member told me you didn't, because you didn't even know my name. It's still listed under the wrong one. Okay, then please, then I'm a paper person. I got the report right here, the engineer. Could you please tell me which page it says that I am? Or for the other buildings, which page does it list where my expense is?
Your expense is outlined in there as a half drop, what it will cost you, yes.
Okay, which page?
It
Oh,
should
wait a
be-
minute. I'm sorry, what page?
Page 9 talks about what it is per person on a full drop. That's why I gave you a copy of page 9 at the last meeting, so that you would have it. Then I told you at that meeting that you were a half drop when I looked up your tax number. and that it would be half the cost.
Okay, for the record, there is no verbiage that says a half drop. Did you want me to give you a copy of page 9?
No, ma'am.
It's not on there. Okay? And as far as you have two gentlemen right here with the pipe cost, I suggest that these people look at the video. The last meeting, you were pressuring everybody saying, the price is going up, the price is going up. We got to pass this. We got to pass this now because the price is going up and it will only be held till November. Now, when they said that the price is going down, you agreed with them. So which is
I
it?
said the prices have come down over the last year and a half. They are not going to be going much further. Yeah, maybe they might save 2 cents a linear foot on them.
Okay, then the last item that I have to say is I sent you a picture. On the corner is my building.
Yes.
The engineer's report does not have anything different. I asked for a specific map until you gave it to me. On that map, it shows 2 hydrants, one on towards the each end of my property. I sent you
One
a,
just to the west side of your driveway and another one where Brown Schoolhouse comes into Transit Road. It would be on your property just south of where that intersection is.
correct, like I just stated, there's going to be 2 fire hydrants on my property. I sent you a picture showing the part of my property directly across, and there's a fire hydrant there.
In the Clarendon
So you're going to
waters.
have 3 fire hydrants within that area. And I asked specifically, why can't these poor residents that are on a fixed income get their water from Clarendon? And your answer was that Monroe County will not allow it. And I said,
County water.
and I said, on my property, my house, 7331, Byron. Across the lawn where the horses are is Elba. Byron and Elba did not play nice. Okay? Now, finally, Elba kept on saying, why would we say no? The debt load is already there. It's pure income to pay for the expense. Finally, you got a new supervisor in Byron that decided to play nice so they would work together. Why is this not brought up at all the meetings saying, why can't you go in and use that existing pipe to get less of a debt load for these residents?
We already met, I told you at the last meeting, that Dale and I and the town attorney met with town of Clarendon supervisor, town attorney, and their highway superintendent. And as well as the engineer was there. We were trying to work it out so that we could do. To do that, we would have to, on your corner, we would have to put a water pit in. It'd have to go right in your front lawn there, basically. Put a water pit in because our water line would come up to there. Then we would connect into Clarendon over where that fire hydrant is, because that fire hydrant is the end of the line for Clarendon right there. That's why there's a stake to the right. Been out there and I looked at your property after you sent me that picture, walked around and everything else. Checked to see where those hydrants would be going in. We can move those hydrants. If you don't want them on your property, we can move them a few feet. But to hook into Clarendon, we would have to put a water pit in there. You're talking $25,000, at least for materials, let alone labor. That would, then we would hook in across the road. That means boring underneath the road to hook into Clarendon. Now, at the north end of that, up by the sawmill, the old sawmill, we would have to then bore under the road again through rock, come up on the other side, and then run a water line the rest of the way down, because that water line is only a short distance north and south of Brown Schoolhouse Road. It doesn't cover any residents on our side. We would have to still tap in, which means now we got to start with all new drawings. We're going to have to, it's going to cost more money. I mean, look at the water pit alone. It's going to be $25,000 in materials.
But how do we know that? There is nothing in writing. Just like you said that everything was on the website and there was zero. Or you said that the pipes are going up at the last meeting and they're going down. I'm a paper person and I am still asking for my debt load. And today I have still not received one single information on the debt load for my specific property. And furthermore, you have the wrong owner on there, and I've owned it since 2018 with my husband. And the house next
I
door.
did the research on that. I saw when your husband and everything's in your husband's name. Also for that right of way easement right there in that corner, which your husband signed for. It's all right there. I saw it. I looked it all up myself.
Well, under the Freedom of Information Act, your clerk said that there was no other paperwork, so that easement is null and void. I have in writing that the only paperwork that there is and exists as of last week is the engineer's report, and that does not show an easement going on my property. And I text you and said that it's null and void because I received zero information. And in order for me to get any information on my own property, I have to submit a FOIL of Information Act.
So that's the correct way of doing it.
Well, I don't think
And I
so in
sent
New York
you
State.
information that should have been, you asked for in your FOIL additional information. And I tried to get all that extra information for you. That's why I contacted the county, looked up to see when you bought the property, so we knew exactly whether it was you or was it Sunrise Bees or something like that was the name of the farm?
That owned it 6 years
Yes,
ago.
before you, yes.
And what about the
What?
house next door?
I was concentrating on you. I was trying to answer all your questions.
And I told you on the phone last week that there is a house next door with an older couple that has no idea either because all the paperwork is under Kevin Bezon that no longer owns the business. I mean, how can you pass something when no information is given to any of us? I'm sorry. This is not the way that a town should be run. Do you have a copy of the New York State Department of Health approval of this project?
Must be one, yes. I'd have to look back through my files and
This should be on file before anything goes to the public. This is the section of the law. I shouldn't be telling you this. The last thing I want to know is, this is what the board approves, that all information must be paid for a resident that pays taxes in this town. I'm not asking for information on anybody else's property. Do you support this, that your clerk demanded that I paid $13 to get the engineer's report when I sat at the meeting last month and asked for any information, and all I got was page 9?
information has to be. Copy of it, yes, it's charged.
For information on my own property.
You got the engineering report and everything, that's more than just your property. That's everybody, basically.
She asked if a FOIL I had to fill out. I'm not asking, I want to know what the protocol is in your town regulations for the town of Barry. Same thing with the pipe information. They want to know what the price of pipe is. That should be given to you by the engineer. Where is that information? It is not in the engineer's report. You had 2 citizens up here asking for the pipe expenses. That should be a given. It is public information.
Thank you very much.
With all this water though, I am curious with the stamp project. I understand a lawsuit has now been filed. If it's concern about contaminating public water, why the push to have public water here? That it's truly, if I have a well that this dam project is
Yeah,
hydrogen,
Stamp project, they're talking about all the water that they are processing would be put into Oak Orchard Creek.
correct. I don't, if we're talking about water tanks that Albion has, where's the public water coming from? Is it going to be coming out of recycled wastewater?
Well,
Is it going to be coming out of the stamp project? Because
no,
I have,
no, our
no?
water comes from the processing plant up on Lake Ontario. The village of Albion has a water processing plant up there. They
okay,
bring the water in, they process
Do
it,
our
purify
county-
it, and then it gets pumped
if-
to us.
do our county taxes that we pay for county water in other towns? I.e., will the rest of the county be paying for ours? Currently now, do my taxes pay for Albion?
Our
should-
county taxes, we pay a portion,
So they're paying a portion of there to pay for us too then?
yeah,
Thank you.
in essence.
Thank-
You're welcome. Okay, anybody else on Water District 10? We'll talk about that later. Okay? And therefore I will move along in this. Thank you very much, those of you that voiced your opinions. Okay, under new business. The lights in the foyer and in the courtroom here. The electric company that supplies the materials did go through their schooling with National Grid. We do qualify for the exemption. There may be a supply issue in getting these lights in the next few months, because I've been pushing to try and get this done because we had budgeted for it to be done this year. I will be getting information forthwith insofar as whether or not they can get the equipment and how much it will be costing us. So I will send that info out to you. The AED CPR training, I got quotes on that. And thank you, Carrie. You had said about how much it was when you guys had the training at your establishment where you work. And so I inquired about that to find out. And the difference is whether you get certified and you get a card or not certified. And I said, well, it's not like part of our profession, but everybody should know the basics and how it is done. And that's the cheaper cost. So thank you for that information. I am waiting for one more person to get back to me. I had texted him today, but I have not gotten a response yet. But it would be, what I'm looking at is the non-certified training. And it's a big difference between 1 hour and 2.5 hours. So that's what I'm checking into right now. I'm still waiting to hear on that. FEMA. Last month, I attended a meeting on the flood study. And we've got maps that I have. I think, Maureen, you received a set too, right? From FEMA? Okay, so there's a set in the main office, and I have a set that I'm gonna put in the conference room if anybody so wishes to want to take a look at it. The meeting covered, it was myself and many other elected officials from different communities. These maps, though, one shows the town, the county, and then there's a lot of segmented maps for the town of Barry. And as you would predict, pretty much the southern part of Barry is potential flood areas. And they're indicated, they're highlighted in here in color. Now, recommendation they have, and I spoke to Shelley about it, is Shelley needs to take a look at this. She needs to study zone A and E, because if anybody comes and wants to build in those areas, she needs to let them know. I also have to get this information to the planning and zoning boards so that they can look it over as well. There's nothing that they need to do to act on. There is occurring, I didn't write down the date, but there is an open house. I think it's the 28th. FEMA is having a open house at the Hoag Library. There it is. From 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Now, does that mean that they're going to be talking the whole time? No, it's an open house. You can come anytime you want to between 2 and 8 at the Hoag Library if you have any questions about the flood zones in our community. 28th, I thought I said. Yes, this 2 weeks. 2 weeks from tomorrow. Couple of concerns we had was number one, stamp project we were talking about and how that will affect the county. It won't affect us in Barry. But the one other thing that we pointed out was that all these farmers with their tiling that they've been doing, the water is flowing into these streams, and as a result, we have a lot more ponding or roads getting washed out because of all this water now that's not staying in the ground is now running into these streams. Also pointed out was that we have a lot of streams that are overgrown, and especially with all these ash trees that are falling across these streams, causing blockage. So once again, we have more flooding. So a recommendation was, let's take a look at these and get them cleaned out to allow the water to flow more freely. Their recommendation was that we should adopt a floodplain permit. The community floodplain permit for doing any work. Now, this is what FEMA is recommending. The county has said we're pretty much set with it at this time. Jim Bensley was at the meeting as well, and he was saying we're pretty well set with a lot of this stuff. So that's something we need to take a look at there. And that's about it. The one thing that, to me, now here's people that work for FEMA, federal agency, and they sounded like insurance agents trying to sell us flood insurance. That's what the meeting sounded like to me. So when you go to the open house, if you go to the open house, be prepared. They're going to probably be talking about and trying to sell flood insurance.
John, can I, when I looked through, what you had sent out to us, and I really appreciated, you sending this out. One of the things and I'm blanking on finding it now, there was a map that talked about they were rezoning some of the areas and including things here. I found it. There we go. Flood map estimated changes. And this is where I felt like for the town of Barry specifically, currently, and maybe you can help me with this. Currently, we have 70 total structures estimated in the effective special flood hazard area. And then there were only 15 estimated in the preliminary special flood hazard area. And then 2 that were identified to be new ones. So they have us listed as 60 structures no longer being identified as being in the special flood zone area, hazard area.
Yeah, they dropped the number.
So I didn't know if that was something that if that goes through all the way, like if those residents have flood insurance and are no longer required, like I don't know if what that changes for our residents. And so that was
So
something that I thought was interesting.
There's nothing, yeah, they dropped some homes because the floodplains have changed. They are not requiring anybody to get flood insurance. They are highly recommending people get the flood insurance to live in those areas. That's all they're doing.
Okay, so, all right, I guess I just don't really understand, this is new territory for me. And so I didn't understand if there were homes, I know there was a home that we looked at before we purchased our home that was in a flood zone, and I know that when we purchased, if we were to purchase that home, we would have been required to purchase flood insurance. And, that was bank requirement for having a loan on the property. I didn't know
That
if there,
probably was the bank saying that,
Right.
yeah.
and so I just didn't know if there were residents who now no longer would be required to have that insurance. Not that it's a bad thing to have it, but just knowing that they were required and now they're not, if they are no longer on the map. It's being identified, so I was just curious about that.
Did they say anything about anticipating?
To answer your question, the map did change, and it was required, and it's typically, they're more favorable.
Okay, how would they know that? How would the property owners know that?
You have to look, and you could notify,
Okay,
and you may find out, if you're current plate holding insurance, you may get notification from insurance company.
right. Right, that makes sense.
The map is easy to read. To make it
Right. And there is a map on here, so maybe we should get that up on our website so that if anybody wants to take a look at that and find their property, they can.
it should be on the website. You can propose.
Yeah,
And you can usually search on that.
yeah, there's a link right on the that Sean sent out to us.
They also will be sending flyers out. My notes right here. Flyers will be mailed out. I don't know if it's to they just said they're mailing them out. I don't know if they're mailing to every single resident or just to the municipalities. But as soon as we see a flyer, like I said, that's only 2 weeks from tomorrow. As soon as we see the flyer, we will get that on the website, notifying people. Hopefully it's being sent to all residents. No idea. Okay. Moving on. I'm gonna come to you, Dale. We're looking for a motion. Everybody got a new copy, right? One I had sent out to you previously had 8 items. This one has 11 items on it. And what Dale is looking for is for a motion that we can declare these items surplus so that he can put them into the auction, sell them off.
Stuff, Dale, that we just don't need or use, correct?
Yep.
And would it be an auction just for the town of Barry, or would it be statewide?
At least they.
Thing done, obviously, over the internet, just photos and description.
I will just share, just because I think that this was when I attended the new municipal officer training 4 years ago now. One of the things I was talking with someone and they're like, "Oh, you're from the town of Barry." And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "You have a really great reputation for good, high quality used, that you guys maintain your equipment really well. So when it goes up for auction, even if it's, older equipment, it tends to come higher because we have that reputation because of our department. So. So yeah, so I just want to say though, that was a really exciting thing to hear at that training. So
Well, so I asked Dale, during the workshop, I asked Dale a question on this and, I think it's gonna go back in your ballpark. I asked if we had a price point that, we'd be happy with all this equipment. He said, yes, we did. And I wondered if we could open up these items to the town of Berry residents purchased before the auction, at that price, and everybody be happy, or didn't know if that was legal. And then the ones that didn't sell could go to the auction.
I don't know.
All right, because I mean, there's some things on here that, if somebody's interested in it, if residents interested, maybe you move in. If they were, that's in the house one item. I don't know. Just a thought, take away the unknown of the option.
The residents are able
Able to
get
go to the
out.
auction.
The auction.
It's open to them. Not the point, but if you want more money for equipment, then that's what you need to do.
So do I hear a motion for this to be all listed as surplus, so it can be listed for the auction?
can we, I will make the motion, but I'm gonna go ahead and read everything out just so that it's on YouTube and anyone here can share it with other people who might be interested in some of these items. Dale, what's the name of the actual auction? All right, so highway surplus equipment, we make a motion to allow Highway Superintendent Dale Brooks to declare surplus and sell the following truck 300, 2018 Chevy 1500 extended cab 4-wheel drive, a truck 302, which is a 2017 Ford 250 extended cab utility box 4-wheel drive, a stone chipper, waste oil burner, Fire Lake Horizon, air pump for waste oil, pole saw, weed whacker, push mower, floor jack, pressure washer, Karcher, may have pronounced that wrong, DeWalt electric jackhammer and bits, tractor tires with industrial tread rears, 16.9-24, 2 of them, and then tractor tires industrial tread 12.5 times 80, 18, 2 of those as well.
Do I hear a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay. We need to have a motion rescinding last month's resolution on Water District 10 that we had passed at our special board meeting that evening. The reason for rescinding that is because board member Richardson had added, after signatures were made, added several sentences to it. So that made it null and void. Plus, we also have to have a permissive referendum, so that was added. So I need a motion to rescind last month's resolution on Water District 10.
I would like to make a point of clarification that the resolution that was made during that special meeting was what Bridget had sent out, and we verbally added that we wanted what was added to the end was that we wanted a letter going out to all of the residents explaining the breakdown of cost and making sure that all of the residents
Which
were right. And so that was not included in what was previously sent to us. And so I was asked to write that information down. I did not realize at that time that by writing that, what was said during the meeting on that would void the resolution. However, it was a bit of a crazy, crazy evening. So just for a clarification on what actually happened there.
And as I had pointed out at that meeting, that I would take care of that and would mail that out, which I did do. There was no need, but once you added those sentences, and that was after
The
there was at least
resolution,
3 signatures.
the resolution
so-
was made with those sentences included. And it,
But they signed that document. Officially, that document didn't have those in.
well, then that was incorrect based on the actual meeting.
So do I hear a motion to rescind the last month's
I
resolution?
move to rescind last month's resolution and special meeting, while water district number 10.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, now you have the new one, which is basically the same as the last one, outlining the proposed Water District 10 with the inclusion of the last resolve, which says resolved that the instant resolution of the Town of Berry Town Board increasing the maximum amount proposed to be expended for such water improvement is subject to permissive referendum, and therefore the town clerk shall publish notice of such within 10 days. That permissive referendum therefore gives the community 30 days from the date it is published in the paper, which will be the Batavia Daily News.
So this one I should give my information.
Go ahead, George.
All right, so, at that special meeting, we had, there's a lot of new information that I became aware of. I was under the assumption that, this water district, that the people had already been approached, and there was a survey done, just make sure that there was a majority of people. What I learned at that meeting was the last one that was done was 2020 with the old numbers. I didn't feel that's right. I feel that before this project should be gone, should have a majority of the people that are gonna be paying for this project in favor of this project. So, I requested that we do that. I was told if I wanna do it, go ahead and do it on my own. So this is not gonna be official. But I did go to, there's 31 houses that I went to. I'm sorry, I'm gonna back that up. There's 31 houses total. There was 5 houses that either no one was home or they didn't answer the door. I was hoping to get, well, let me back. There's 38 units, what do you, as a board, feel the majority should be before we move forward? If there's 38, how many yeses? And plus, anybody else want to say something or commit? It's tap and at least more than 19.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the majority of it.
Anybody else want to commit?
I would like to see
So
more than 50%, like 60 to 70% or higher.
I was hoping for, at least over 20. I was really hoping for 5 and feel well about this. Not saying it couldn't be there yet, but in going to the homes, before I give you the numbers that I have, I will tell you that 5 of my yeses were from neighbors or people, relatives or people next door that said, they're gonna be a yes, they're gonna be a yes. They're gonna be a yes. So 5 of them are that way, so I didn't go to those homes. I also had 4 of the no's that I was told, that's gonna be a no, he's gonna be a no. And so those are my numbers. Of the 31, I got 14 yeses, I got 12 no's, and 5 people that way. Or didn't answer the door. Now, that's just residents. I did not open up to the, landowners that are gonna be half units. You know, I think we should do that for going forward. And I would feel more comfortable getting a majority that we can stand behind for this project. And do the extra time. I had a lot of good conversation with people. I understand the, you know, there's definitely the people that want it, have good reasons to want it. The people that don't want it, I had people that don't want it, aren't gonna hook in, but they're gonna help their neighbors and they said yes. I also had people that want it, but can't afford it. And that we have to take in. It's their money we spend. That's the way I feel. I think at this extra time, we can also look into some of these other things that we can maybe lower the projects. I'll bring up this as a concern. I was looking at the report from the engineers and I can understand and, you know, I was just, yeah, prices went up, things doubled, you know, a lot. We can look back into that, see if they're down. But some things that really bothered me with the engineering report. Okay, these are people with college education. They know they're paying them. They know that, and it doubled. Went from 96,000 to 180,000. You know, not quite double, but almost double. If you came into my animal hospital tomorrow and everything was doubled, I don't think a lot of people would be happy. I think we need to look at this. I think that's gouging. I say it.
People pay you more for service than they.
That's not, we're not,
They pay more, not more, what they pay you is for your service, not so much materials.
an engineering firm, we're paying for
I'm
services.
Talking to.
They pay for service, that's where we make some money, but, I'd say percentage wise,
I just want to buy your materials. I mean,
materials are,
have they gone up?
I try to keep them back. They don't. I think generic, we went to a lot of generic. I tried to watch the
Good.
costs.
Good. Good. Glad to hear it.
And just to let everybody know out there, if anything's passed or put forward to get going with the government, even if we can find a cheaper way, if it's passed tonight, can we rescind it? No, we can stop.
Oh, well, I didn't know that either, and Bridget, do you wanna explain what they have to do in order to stop it? It's not just a simple, we're rescinding it like you just did.
Well, I think what you're talking about, or the Mrs. Barnhart, is different from what Dave is talking about.
Okay,
So, I mean, there are two different things here. So one is that the resolution before you tonight is for to increase the maximum amount to be expended. And, you know, I'll say with all of the professional service fees associated with Water District 10, my own included, when we submitted to rural development, we had to include the maximum amount of funds. So, because we have been through this process now several times, we will be the same enrollment grant. That is why we have asked for going up, not because you're being priced out, because this process is taking longer and the services are being completed, because we're doing this all the time. So I just, you know, in defense of our engineering firm, I really truly do not believe it's priced out. And in fact, if the services, that's the maximum. So they could come in under what the function. They're bidding for the legal services and hope that they come in under. But if we continue down this road, I want to happen. In terms of the method referendum, if the people of Water District 10 are unhappy with, if a resolution is passed tonight to increase the maximum amount of expenses, and the people of Water District 10 are unhappy, they can carry a petition and file it with the town clerk within 30 days, to trigger the referendum if it's done about. Well, maybe not November, because I have to, gather it. Let's see what the date is.
But
So this board can, put the brakes on, that's independent of the single person.
so I am correct as far as we can stop this if we found out a cheaper, or we found out that there was not that many of the Water District 10 that wanted it residents, correct?
So,
Before.
so I have a logistical question. We as a board pass this resolution tonight and it gets sent to the comptroller. And during that time that the comptroller is reviewing it, we take a hard look at everything, at the numbers again, and try and see if there's any ways that we can reduce the cost for the residents. And we find a way that we can reduce the cost for the residents. What we send to the comptrollers is the maximum. So we can, as a board, we could work to try and figure out a way to try and bring this cost down. If we were to do that though, and this is just from my experience with Water District 9, and I want to make sure, the money that we figured out a way to make less, it would still be a 50-50 split with the grant. So say we lowered the project cost from 2 million to 1.5 million, it would, instead of it being $1 million in grant and $1 million out of pocket, it would be 750,000 grant, 750,000 out of pocket. It would still be that type of split. So it would reduce the cost, but it's not like we would reduce the cost and then say we still have this $1 million and we would only have to pay 500,000. It would also reduce the grant. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding.
So it can be stopped if there is a way to do this that can be put in. So it at least gets the legal end and the government end going forward. If it comes to find out that almost nobody wants it, stop. But at least it's moving forward. And if the board and the residents can find a cheaper way to do it, that would be included. Just remember though, if we bring it down, Carrie was saying 500,000 here, the grant talks too. It's still less money to you guys. Best thing though. So, I would like to see an actual official petition put out to the residents to sign and really give your opinions. Yes, no, it doesn't have to be long, but why do you not? Are you, elderly and you're on a fixed income? I get it. I get it with 93. There's young families that want to raise their kids here. They want it for their obvious reasons. I mean, we've all done that. So we have to look at both ends of it. And it's, lack of a better word, it sucks. You're trying to help everybody here. And it's for you guys, if we can come up with an agreement where it's less money and everybody gets good water, great, but somebody's going to be upset no matter what. It's welcome to the world, and we try to do the best for everybody involved. But that's what we're doing.
Okay, do we have to do an official one-on-one petition? Can we do something like that? We can send it to them and get a return ballot. Blind ballot, yes, no.
It has to be face to face.
So to answer your question, George, the petitioning was to create Water District 10. The Water District 10 already exists. So going out and petitioning again would actually be pointless because the district already exists, has to dissolve the district. So I would encourage a more informal, neighbor to neighbor approach. I mean, maybe you guys want to go out to canvas and like we did, yesterday, or and so door to door and talk to people. That maybe you may get more responses than sending something in the mail. But certainly that's a great idea, but it's not a formal, not legal process.
It would just be to inform the board for our decision-making purposes, not for, there's no requirement for us as a town board to do that.
Yes. Here they are. 25 yeas, 15 no, or vice versa.
I'm using.
I mean, at least that way we would have something saying, and down the road, a year or two down the road, they go, no, I don't think, no, here it is. I mean, so it would just confirm and make us feel better on the vote,
Just to give you my perspective on this point of view, my first duty as an elected councilman was a complaint for a citizen that was having a hard time paying his taxes, his water bill, was higher than his dad. He wasn't hooked on, but still paying, and you want to know what the heck, why, what's going on. Okay, yeah, look in. Only thing I can come back to was saying within the water district, majority wanted it. So the majority. Look at the benefits, increased your property values, got good water, comes time to sell, and if you ever need it, you got it. But majority rules. I want to make sure majority rules this one. What do we got to stand in? Come back and ask.
And the other thing, it's not, this water district isn't a huge water district. There's 31 units of actual homes, and then 14, I believe it was 14 half units. So it's not like it's a huge number to go out and communicate with.
So we have the resolution before us. Resolution for increasing the maximum amount to be expended on Water District 10 with subject to permissive referendum that will be published within 10 days in the Batavia Daily News, and that referendum and the date of publication in the news, Daily News, is 30 days from that date. Do I hear a second on that?
Also,
All in favor?
So for discussion, just for clarification.
Okay.
You guys want to vote on this now? We're gonna go ahead and do the, poll. We get a majority. All right. If you don't have a majority, we're rescinding this one.
It'll be up for discussion amongst us based on those poll numbers, yes.
What is and I know that we're gonna say the price is gonna go for it. I did that all in one, like, what is the problem with getting this information this week, getting out there, doing our homework, contacting these people, finding out what's going on, and then having a special meeting or something. I don't want to wait for next.
We can go ahead and get all that information, and yes, it'll be for next meeting. But right now, we need to decide on this resolution right now so we can move forward and not delay it even longer.
Right, but I'm saying, what is, it's done more meet than expected.
I already did.
And we dragged, it didn't get done in those 2 weeks when we talked about it, so we did it in 1 month.
And
I gotta
just
commend you, George.
just
You
for
went
clarity,
to 31 homes. Man, when I've been out campaigning and knocking on doors, I'm lucky if I get to 10 homes in a
Like I
night.
said, I did go to those 5 that weren't there, but the 9 from people.
so just for clarification point, so based on what the work that he did last night, we don't have a majority. We don't have a majority of the residents of that water district in
Based
favor.
on what he collected last night of the people he spoke to, he's got 14 to 12. That's greater than 50% based on those people he spoke to.
But the problem with that is that you have to do it based on your total population. So a majority isn't just based off of the people that you speak with. It's based off of, so he was hoping,
I remember some other polls from years past having to do with other major projects that the numbers like that are what counted and you didn't have total numbers from the whole community.
Did count because I took you a survey that I did from 35% of the residents.
Okay,
87% said not to change the wind ordinance. 87% of the
we're
survey.
gonna,
And
we're
you
gonna
did.
back off now. We're right now, what we are talking about is this having to do with Water District 10. Now, we have the motion, we have a second. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Because we can rescind it.
Those opposed?
No.
no, because I'm concerned that it's too wishy-washy of
I said yes.
if we move forward right now and we don't have the confidence that we don't have a majority right now.
Okay, so passed.
So
Okay, next on the agenda.
can I ask about are we going to get on this? Give me the numbers from get phone numbers, address, how are we gonna reach out to the people that are in other towns that are on the fence?
We'll get it put together. Is it gonna be like tomorrow or Friday? No. But next week, yes. Okay, next. We are still working on a few things. We had this in discussion during our workshop on Water District, on the water agreement between ourselves and the town of Albion. And what I'm looking for here is a motion to extend the present contract that we have with them for one more month. And hopefully next month we will have a final agreement and we can vote on the new contract at that time. So the motion is to extend the present water agreement with the town of Albion. Do I hear a second on that? For 1 month, yes.
I move that we extend the present contract for one more month.
Okay, second. Margaret's got the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, next. Margaret completed the court audit report. If she would please, if you could give a little report on that, and then we can have a motion to accept. We do this yearly. Every year, the state requires us to do an audit of the court records. And it's generally been the deputy supervisor that has done it every year. So Margaret handled it this year. It's been completed. Maureen has submitted the initial report to the state. So all that's left is just us accepting the audit report.
And the numbers were all correct.
Okay, do I hear a motion then to accept the court audit report?
Is. I just, so, the report, I know that, Lynn used to do it. It's just Maureen puts it together, a report, and then you go through and verify everything that was.
All the ledgers and make sure everything was correct.
I'll move that we accept the, Margaret's court audit report.
Second? All in favor? Opposed? So carried.
While we're on that, and you guys can probably answer this now, on the cash summary report. You guys got that? Sure. I had a question there. I guess I didn't understand, the highway checking and the highway savings, for where the balance was. It just seemed like there was quite a bit of money moved around and then balance is zero, and I just wanted to know that. And then the other one is actually a negative.
That would be a. Well, you're looking at that one.
Yeah,
That's all water district.
no, this is the highway town.
Oh, up towards the top there?
and savings, yeah.
That would be a question for Lee. She'll be able to answer that one. Okay, and that can be answered after the. I know you brought up that question before and things getting moved around. Lee could answer that question for you. Okay, next. This all transpired in the last 48 hours. Monday night at the planning board meeting. The planning board had spoke with about this new Verizon antenna, new Verizon tower that is supposed to get erected, which will be just over here on Adrian Daniels' property, not far from the town hall here. It was proposed that the planning board wanted to hire an engineering group, and it's MRB. I think I sent this all to you today, as this the contract just came today. Verizon has agreed that they will pay for engineers and any attorney fees and basically anything else. I think the planning board also got the approval for an escrow account like we have with our other projects. So Verizon is going to provide an escrow account. They are paying for any and all attorney fees. That's overall. And as well as the engineers. Concern was because it is very wet over in that area to the north side of Westbury Road here. And concern was about footing, making sure that it is anchored correctly and we don't need to worry about 10, 15 years from now that it might go over because of the soft ground. So that's why the engineering firm has been requested. So what I'm looking for, because the planning board has asked us to approve this, we got the contract, which like I said, I sent it to you. So I need a motion for MRB to be the engineers responsible for the tower.
They pay all costs,
Verizon will pay all costs.
no cost to the town.
No cost to the town on anything.
They pick their own engineers.
MRB would.
Okay. Really no downside. There's no cost to the town. Then, correct?
Is there like I know that this is very, but I didn't see like an actual estimate breakdown of how much time or, to review what's, and I just want a clarification that we'll get the reports, like they'll be sent to, shared with the planning board and, with all the members and with the, any zoning board when they have to review. Cause the town board isn't, we don't actually have to review. We just have to approve MRB working on behalf of the planning board, right? Or is the town board going to be reviewing this application?
But this is, everything is going to, Verizon is paying us, so that's why. But the town board, yeah.
Right. 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 That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure that that was how this works and that it's just, we are just approving it because we're the contractual board
And it's the
out of our funds, right? Right. Yes.
So this is Verizon's engineering group, so they're purchase, they look at their project,
No.
no?
this is the.
Okay. Okay,
In the interest of.
yeah,
And this project is on a tight time crunch because of the federal regulations, right?
We're trying to get.
Okay.
Whether it's the reality, I don't know.
So as soon as these reports and reviews are being done, MRB is going to be sending them to the planning board so that they can be reviewing and preparing. Perfect. I move that we approve the contract with MRB in regards to the Verizon application at the recommendation of the planning board.
All in favor?
Right.
Hi.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, moving in.
I got something on this here. Or. So. You guys all set there, so you guys gonna that page, you know?
Yes.
Speakers, okay, so I'd like to share this, information that I found when I before I was elected as councilman, the board last, before us, okayed or elected to accept $50,000 from Heritage Wind to relook at our windows. When I came on, one of the things I wanted to see is where that money actually got to 50,000 and report that. What I found was we never received $50,000. It never went through Sheldon. It was paid directly to UB for looking at the window. So I reached out to Dr. Hall numerous times. That's why it's 2 years and I'm just getting, giving you an update. So I reached out to Dr. Hall numerous times, over a dozen times. Never got a call. Finally, it kind of dawned on me to reach out to the dean at UB and see if she can help me. She did. She said that Dr. Hall was on leave there right now. I sent her my more questions I had. She offered to put me in touch with someone who could get those questions answered, but there would be a fee. One of the questions I had on the first one was, how much would Dr. Hall get paid of this? He actually got paid over 50,000, 31,300. Didn't use the 50,000. I then sent her the report that he did. She said that, and to make comments on what she thought of the report. She said she's treading on thin ice, but she could say from the money that he took, that would have been equivalent to working 3 months, 40 hours a week. Or didn't seem to coincide with that much time. On the, she also said that he, in a review, she said that he did give guidelines, old and new, but he did not do any testing. So, what my plan is now is, I was going to have Bridget, ask Bridget to look into it, but I don't want to spend town's money on this and that. So I just wanted for your information, I am going to be going forward with this and ask for a breakdown of this thing.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on. My report, expenses through the end of August should be about 66.67%. For the town, we have spent $380,420 of our budgeted $596,522, or in other words, we have used 63.77% of our budget at this time. Highway expenses are $972,807 of their budgeted $1,338,992, or 72.65%. And I don't think I need to repeat why theirs is so high at this time, with reimbursements coming in December. Dale, your report. Looks straightforward to me. Maureen, your report. Really, Dale, that looks like a boring month you had. Although I know you guys been busy. Thank you, George. Okay, I got the court report and the town report right here. Brought in $810, and that is mostly, once again, on dog licensing. Like our dogs. Okay, Stephanie, everybody's got a copy of that, right? And put copies in your mailboxes. Please tell me I did.
You emailed it out. You emailed it out last week. You're good.
Okay.
I don't think there were copies in the mailbox, but you did email it out.
So in there, her report is she spent the month of August driving around town taking photos for the county. She's taken 300 plus residents' photographs. Only the southwest portion of the town remains to be done, and she should have that completed by the end of September. Houses on the market, there are 3 houses on the market. Total assessed value is $229,000, but the listed price total is $403,000. So the average listing price right now is $134,000. The average assessed value is $76,467. The average listing price is $134,600. So it's a 57% increase. Code enforcement, Shelley. Received 3 applications this month. As you can see on your flip page there. Yeah, August, there was only 3 in the month of August. Planning board, Margaret. Got a report there?
There were 3 applications reviewed. Right, there were. And John Capady is going to be the planning board representative for the comprehensive plan. And Wes Miller is an alternate.
Okay, zoning, Carrie?
I was not able to attend the meeting, but Steve is here. I don't know if he wants to share it.
Next. And you will get a representative from the zoning board. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Park, Dave, I'm sure you haven't heard anything because Jason hasn't shared anything.
I thought we were gonna see something tonight.
Yeah. It didn't happen. He did say that he is having a park committee meeting coming up between now and our next board meeting. He didn't give me a date. But he is gonna send out notification. So you'll be hearing something from him because he wants to go over this extended plan, comprehensive, not comprehensive plan, but the plan for the future of the park.
Did you wanna do it before the next time?
Yes, he just wanted to make sure the park committee is all on board and knows what's going on. Okay, utilities, George.
Resubmitted it. It's all online application for that. Submitted it.
Resubmitted what for? Okay. Bridget, do you have anything? No, thank you. Okay, then. At this time, folks, I'm going to call for an executive session, so the board and I will be removing ourselves from here. Could I hear a motion for executive session? It's, okay, it's right there, personnel issue. Okay, it's to fire or hire someone.
Make a motion.
Second? Second. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, executive session. I'm gonna turn the mics off at this time. Okay, I turn the mics back on. You want to take that off hold on the phone? Please. There we go. Okay, at this time, I would like to have a motion to call us back into regular session, town board meeting regular session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Vote to call us back into regular session from exec. And you got the time of 7:31? 9:31, I'm sorry. Time flies when you're having fun, you know that? Okay, now that we're back in regular session, can I hear a motion for adjournment of the meet? Oh, before I do that, notice at the bottom, our next town board workshop is October 11th at 6 p.m. And the board meeting is October 11th at 7 p.m.
When are we gonna talk about how we're gonna send out?
I'll send out text messages rather than emails.
He's talking about Water District.
What?
Yeah, Water District 10. I'll send out text message and we'll talk that way. How's that? Group text message. Okay? Okay, do I hear a motion? Oh, my phone just told me it's time to get rid of it. Okay, motion to adjourn. Margaret made the motion. Second. George second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you, everyone. Hang up that phone, please.